Hello, and thank you for coming to the McWaters Effect. I'm your host, Matt. Today I'm looking at the Gateway Pundit, but first, need you to hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Let's take a look at this news article. Unhinged liberal author Carl Bernstein, President Trump is our own American war criminal of a kind we have never experienced before. You just can't quit Trump. Unhinged liberal author Carl Bernstein on Sunday said, delusional Trump is an American war criminal. Carl Bernstein made a name for himself during the Watergate investigation. Since that time, his career has been on a steady decline. These days, Bernstein is a CNN's in-house loser, which makes him a perfect fit for the Brian Stelter show Reliable Sources. I think we need to calmly step back and maybe look at Trump in a different context. He is our own American war criminal. Carl Bernstein said on Stelter. Carl Bernstein said to Stelter, and here's the video. We'll go ahead and watch it.
But when we're talking about Trump, we're obviously talking about a kind of delusional madness, such as General Milley was talking about, that is on a scale and a scope that we have never experienced in an American president in our history. I think we need to calmly step back and maybe look at Trump in a different context. He is our own American war criminal of a kind we've never experienced before.
You just said war criminal. What do you mean, war criminal?
I did. Well, in international law, there have been, quote, crimes against humanity. I think what we're talking about, Trump's crimes as an American war criminal in his own country, that he has perpetrated upon our people, including the tens of thousands of people who died because of his homicidal negligence in the pandemic, putting his own electoral interests above the health of our people as they were slaughtered in this pandemic. Looking at his actions in terms of fomenting a coup to hold on to office in which the head of the American military, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has now compared Trump, not the press, not reporters comparing Trump to Hitler, but rather the head of the American military comparing him and his movement to brown shirts, to the Reichstag fire. This is a huge wake-up call to this country when General Milley, the head of the American military, has said this. And it fits as a piece with something so extraordinary in our history. It's not political. Trump is not just political. He transcends the political, and we need to start looking at his crimes in that context.
Bernstein has been obsessed over Trump for years. In March 2016, Carl Bernstein famously accused Donald Trump of being a neo-fascist, nativist, racist, bigot, despot. All right, guys, that's the end of the article. And these people are going crazy. I mean, they're still talking about this man. He's not even president right now. And they still talk about him like he is similar to, I can't say his name, but the leader of Germany in the 1930s. Okay, let's go with the first thing he's talking about when it comes to war crimes. And it has to do with COVID. The idea he was more worried about his political gain than he was about COVID doesn't even make sense. Because if COVID wasn't going to get under control, it would have hurt him in the polls. So he had interest of slowing down COVID and even stopping it if he can. So his argument about that part doesn't even make sense politically. And the other thing, if it wasn't for him and Operation Warp Speed, we wouldn't have a vaccine. We would still be waiting on the vaccine now. If he wouldn't have done Operation Warp Speed, that's a fact. Is that an inconvenient fact for the Democrats? Absolutely. That's why they're trying this revisionist history to make like he had nothing to do with it. Not only that, if it wasn't for him shutting down the borders and shutting down flight travel from China, COVID would be a lot worse than it already is. Number 3, the reason COVID's gotten worse now is because the borders are open. And they're asking these illegal immigrants to take the COVID shot, and at least half of them are saying no. But if you are in jail and you want to get out of jail off of parole, you have to take the COVID shot. You don't have a choice. But people coming into this country illegally do have a choice. How much sense does that make? Another thing is, The DOJ just dropped all investigation against 4 governors, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. They're looking into the nursing home situation there and people dying in nursing homes because these governors decided to start putting COVID patients in nursing homes around the people that are more likely to die from COVID. They decided to drop the whole investigation. Now that is corruption on the highest level of government. Where's Carl Bernstein investigating that? Talking about that? Nowhere to be found. Oh, wait a minute. I found him on CNN, reliable sources, talking about Trump again. He's not a reporter. He's a propagandist. And then when it comes to January 6th, if you watch Trump's speech, he says, go protest peacefully. That's what he says. He doesn't say anything else other than that. And the media is changing his words, trying to change history. And if you look at some of the people that have been arrested for what happened on January 6th, none of them are charged for insurrection. They're either charged for trespassing, disorderly conduct, breaking and entering, destruction of private property. That is it. There's no insurrection on it. So calling it an insurrection isn't even an accurate word for what happened on January 6th. And yes, for you guys out there that want to know, you can be charged for insurrection. I mean, guys, the Trump deranged syndrome is so pervasive in the mainstream media and in the Democrat Party that they're still using it and COVID to get ratings and fear mongering to try to get people to go out there and vote. People are tired of this COVID lockdown crap. Look what's going on in France, Australia, and parts of the U.S. People do not want these COVID lockdowns. The fact is, Bernstein is saying these outlandish remarks on TV to get clicks. That's all the reason he's doing it. It's because the man's career has went down to shit. Plain and simple. No one cares about what he has to say or cares about what he reported on in the 70s. That was then. This is now. It's been 50 years. Get over it. But guys, that's my opinion. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Peace.